My late boyfriend's parents demanded his house, but I refused to hand it over.
It's mine.
My boyfriend, 30 male, rest in peace, and I, 33 male, were together for 15 years. I was his senior in high school, and we stayed together until a few months ago when he passed away due to bone cancer. By the way, this comes from user DearFerret9268, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
I'm Sophia.
I'm Keon.
And we are here to give you good advice goofily. But we don't have all the answers, so we only know what we do. Let us know what you do in the comments. And OP says, I live in a traditional country where our marriage is not legal, but it's not a big issue socially. His parents booted him out of the house when he came out at 17, and my family took him in, helped him finish high school, and were supportive as much as they could be. I worked in HR, and he worked in IT. Since he started to work, he made good money.
You both worked in letters.
Both worked in the big industry.
Yeah.
The letters industry.
The letters industry.
He saved enough to purchase a house 10 years ago. He was paying the mortgage all by himself. 4 years ago, he got the diagnosis. He reduced his working hours to take care of his health, and I stepped in to pay the mortgage. It was a hard battle, but doctor took him back in March. After he passed away, his family appeared in the picture, saying how they regretted not being in his son's life. And a month ago, they reached out to me, asking me when they could expect that I could give them the keys to the house.
You're funny. You're funny.
They're comedians.
Oh my gosh, you guys
That's
are
their
so funny.
That's their other job. They're
Is this
comedians.
your tight five? Because it's funny. Your life's a joke.
OP adds, since this marriage is not legal, they could claim the house as their family assets. I told them that the house was in my name. I bought it from him a year into the campaign, so it was legally mine, and I had been paying the mortgage way before that. They got upset and said I was being unreasonable, and that it should legally be theirs, and that my boyfriend would have wanted to give them the house, which is in fact true. My boyfriend talked a lot about how he would give everything to them if that would fix the relationship between them. Actually, he bought the house as a way to bring them to live with him so they would no longer rent. He also tried to make amends with them all this time, unsuccessfully. I told them that I would give them the house for the price I bought it from my boyfriend, and they would have to pay me back these 4 years of mortgage and take the debt over in their name. They said they didn't have the money, and that it was so selfish of me to tell them that, knowing what my boyfriend would have wanted. They proposed just to change the debt onto their name and give me no money in return. I declined. They got mad, and the discussion got heated to the point that they told me they would bring me to court, accusing me of scamming my boyfriend to have the house, which they can't do. They've been calling and texting me nonstop for the past month, telling me I would be an a-hole to my boyfriend if I don't give them the house. I know they can't pay me back all the money I put in the house, but I'm conflicted right now. Some friends told me that I should give them the house and move on with my life, but it just doesn't feel right to me. I'm leaning more onto not giving them the house, but I know my boyfriend would jump the bed and give it to them. Right now, their words feel empty, as if they just want to take advantage of the situation. I don't need the house, to be honest, but don't want to give it to them either. We never talked with my boyfriend about what I should do with the house after his passing, so would I be the a-hole if I don't give them the house? Comment 1 says, not the a-hole. He would have given them the house in his life because he missed them that much. They refused to have anything to do with him even when he was passing away. If you give them the house now, then they benefit from him even though they rejected him when he was alive. You keep the house because you're the one who loved your boyfriend. You owe his terrible family who kicked him out at 17 nothing. And there is another comment. Not the a-hole. You don't find it at all suspicious that they didn't come around until after he passed away. I don't believe they regret anything. They just want his assets. I also don't believe your boyfriend would have wanted you to give them the house. While he was alive, he would have done that to mend the relationship, but now there's no opportunity to mend the relationship. You really think he would want you to move out and give them the house? He loved you too, and I don't think you're thinking about that at all. You really should block their numbers and move on with your life. OP replies, Actually, we always joked about how he would have a hard time if his parents asked him to break up with me in order to win their love back. He really was desperate for their love, and I know he would be conflicted too. I did find it suspicious why they appeared after he passed, and that's why I don't find their words honest and what is keeping me from giving them the house. I don't need it, thankfully. I also have an apartment that I bought with my own money, but the house means a lot to us just to give it to them. Comment number 3 says, you did talk about what would happen to the house after he passed when you bought the house from him and it went into your name after the cancer diagnosis, right? You may not realize it, but that was him making sure you would be okay. OP replies, we decided I had to buy the house so I could rearrange the mortgage and pay a lesser amount since I would have 2 properties in a single mortgage. I would have changed it back to him when the debt was cut in half. We trusted each other deeply, so we never thought a lot on this kind of stuff. If things were reversed, I wouldn't be thinking about whose name is on the mortgage either. And there's an edit. Thank you all for your kind words. I cried a lot with most of the comments. Sorry if I can't keep the pace and reply to everyone. I just wanted to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. And there is a second edit here. This has blown up in ways I didn't even think about. Thank you all for your kind words. Just to add some info that looks like is needed for some of you, I live in a country in Central America. For safety reasons, I will not give the name. We didn't live in the house. We lived at my apartment. That's why I don't need the house, but I just don't feel right giving it to his parents. Also, almost all of his money went to pay medical bills. He didn't want me to put my money on it, which obviously I would have. And buying the house was the best idea we came up with to satisfy the both of us. The house is not a big one. It's 6 by 10 meters and also is in the suburbs. It's not worth the same as in other countries, around $90,000 US or a little more. He was such a kind heart, so I'm pretty sure that even if it was all a lie, he would have given them the house the moment they acknowledged him as attracted to the same gender and tell him they loved him. That's the reason why I'm having a hard time considering this. I can't answer all of your comments, but I'm trying to read all of them. Thank you for your support. And there is an update. I hope you sold the house for that cool $90,000.
Yeah, me too. I hope you sold it and that they never get their grubby little hands on it.
Please don't let their little grub fingers
The little grub hands.
touch all your door handles. And
Ew.
get them all slimy and gooey with
They're
bug
so
residue.
slimy.
First of all, thanks to all the people who replied and gave me some support. I really appreciate that. Back when I posted the story, I was in a really bad place and everything was convoluted. I can't tell you how hard it was for me to get to a decision. A lot of people told me to take some time to think about it, but I really want to thank user Ms. Saftig J. When I was logging out from Reddit the other day, I saw their response and it lived rent-free in my head for almost a week. That helped me decide to take my time before making any decision regarding the house. So I decided to wait until I felt I was able to think clearly. It took me a few months. It was hard. His parents kept bothering me with calls and emails about the house. They even hired a lawyer to talk to me about it. But my own lawyer told them all to F off. They hadn't any leg to stand on if that would have gone to a judge. Back in January, I finally felt able to make any decision, and I told them I was going to sell them the house for the original price my boyfriend bought it for. I would still lose some money, but it was the best course of action for me, and that was my last offer. They refused it, saying that I should be a better person and let them get the house for less.
That's funny. That's funny. OP should be a better person. OP? You guys, again, out a 17-year-old because he liked guys. Who's the better person?
They didn't even dare to call me his boyfriend, just a person. So I decided to put the house on the market. And by the way, you can decide to listen to full episodes of stories just like this on your favorite podcast platform. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen, just search OK Storytime. And you've got almost 90 full days worth of stories to listen to. That's like almost 3 months.
We got to keep track of when we get to 100.
We're almost there. Back in February, they reached out to me again asking if my proposal was still on the table. I would have loved to tell them no, but I know my boyfriend would have wanted them to live there, so I told them yes.
No, that was a sarcastic aw. Aw, like too bad. No.
Like, oh, geez. Oh, you should have taken my offer. Oh, yesterday's price, not today's price. I told them yes, but that they had to decide within the week. It wasn't necessary, and they accepted right away. So I let my lawyer handle the selling. I didn't want to see them anymore. I got surprised when my lawyer handed me a photo book of him as kid and preteen, and it looks like it was their way of trying to acknowledge their son's life. It's the only thing that I'm grateful for to them. A few weeks ago was my boyfriend's 1-year memorial, and they didn't show up, so I can move on with my life without them bothering me anymore. Thanks again for all the comments and direct messages. You guys are awesome.
Yeah, those people are disgusting.
Yeah, that's the end of that story. And honestly, don't even show up to your son's memorial? Yeah, why did you give him the
steal
house?
his house.
Why'd you sell him the house?
You steal a house and then don't show up to his memorial.
Yeah. Looks like the house didn't actually fix anything.
Nope.
Ugh, I hate to be that guy, but ugh. If somebody is just entirely awful to someone their entire life, and then that person who was the victim of their awfulness passes away, don't give them a house.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a gift, they bought it, but don't sell them the house. They shouldn't live in that house.
No.
They don't deserve to live in that house.
No, they're terrible people. My girlfriend kissed another girl in front of me, so I dumped her.
And that's the full scoop, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm gonna keep it straight, because I don't even know how I should feel. Basically, me, my girlfriend, and our friend group were hanging out at one of our friends' house. We were playing Uno, just having fun. That's how it starts with Uno.
That's how it always starts.
Yeah, I end up kissing Dakota all the time after Uno.
Yeah.
Just from Uno.
Cursing at each other, hitting each other, stuff that happens in an Uno match. By the way, this comes from Il Championship 73, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Dakota.
I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we do. So please let us know what you would do in the comments. Out of nowhere, one of my friends asked my girlfriend, how much money would it cost for you to kiss a girl? I should specify that she's bi, and it's something she was clear about with me from the start. I didn't really mind whatsoever. After my friend asked her that, she just said, free, bruh, in a very clear, joking tone, which we all laughed a bit about. But then immediately said, you know what? And went and kissed another girl in our friend group. The group was in shock, but I feel like they were happy shocked. They had their mouths open in shock, but they were smiling, and some of them started laughing. Meanwhile, I was sitting there just staring at her. I genuinely felt like my heart completely disappeared. I wasn't mad nor sad, I just felt super blank. She then came to me to hug me, and I just pushed her away, lightly, which she reacted to with surprise.
I cannot let you get close.
Just like a gentle, like,
Yeah, like,
no.
yeah. Without saying a single word, I stood up from the floor and started packing my stuff while my girlfriend was asking me why I was so mad and saying it was just a joke. My friends were still laughing about it while I continued to just stare at her, trying to make her realize what she had just done. When I was done, I left the house and walked home. It was a little far, but I honestly didn't feel like I cared at that moment. When I got home, my phone was full of missed calls and about 30 texts from her asking me what had happened.
It's like, you know what happened, but you just need him to say it. It's like, everything got weird after I kissed that
girl.
person.
I wrote a text to her telling her that we were done and that I just couldn't believe that she would genuinely kiss someone else in front of me and expect me to just take it like it was nothing. I told her goodbye and blocked her. About 2 hours later, my friends started texting me, calling me overdramatic. They were all telling me I was acting like a little kid and that I shouldn't have gotten so mad because it's just two girls kissing. Which is so, like, dismissive, like, queer female relationships. Just, like, any sapphic relationship that dismisses it completely. And the fact that your girlfriend, as a bi woman, doesn't get that and doesn't see why what her friends are saying is wrong is also super bad just for bi people.
Sophia, I don't get how you don't get that it's just two girls kissing.
Just two girls kissing. It doesn't count. That's literally what they're saying. And if your girlfriend doesn't hear what they're saying,
it's a natural force. It's like
crazy.
gravity. It's just something that happens.
Yeah, that's insane.
It's something that happens by nature.
It's just nature.
Well, if it were wicked, we gotta defy gravity.
Before you all ask, I blocked all of them everywhere. I don't even know how I should feel. Keep in mind, I'm writing this 2 days after this happened, and I'm still processing it. Am I actually in the wrong? I don't think that I am whatsoever, but I'm still really worded out about it. Am I the a-hole? And there are some relevant comments. Own Conclusion says, why did it bother you so much? OP says, she kissed someone else in front of me. It's not something that just gets passed as a joke, man. Locke says, I don't know if it's AI or not, but I'm still trying to figure out the casual, we were all hitting each other like you do in normal Uno games. What I meant in this is the chaos that usually happens in long Uno matches in friend groups. At least that is something that happened a lot in that group. We played a version of Uno called No Mercy, and we played with a lot of made-up rules to make things more chaotic. I am sorry, it sounds fake. Deleted comment, but it goes like, were you both willing to give up all kitty for the entire relationship? OP says, I'm not a religious person. Neither do I follow any of that alpha male stuff you said. Neither am I American. A deleted comment asked if OP would react differently if his ex was not bi. OP says, I don't really believe that I would have reacted differently if she was straight. As I stated in the edit of that post, conversations about those type of stuff and boundaries were made and established. DT3092 says, the irony of the story starting with, I'm going to keep it straight, when his girlfriend, in fact, did not. Uno, reverse. OP says, I've seen 10 replies about this thing so far. I swear it wasn't intentional, LMAO. Update. Hello, y'all. I read a lot of the opinions on this and decided to text her again to explain the reason that I left based on some of your suggestions. I do think that is probably good just so everyone can kind of get what they want to say out.
Yeah.
I still think it's fair that you want to end the relationship because that was totally a betrayal. But I think it is good just in general to have a conversation. As of writing this, I'm only left on scene, but no matter if she answers or not, I don't believe I want to go back together. Something that I believe should be common sense for some people is that, yes, during these 3 years, we have both talked about everything that is to do with boundaries, stuff that we like in those terms, and things that we both would not be okay with doing. Even if we were together for 3 years, I don't believe doing such a thing as a joke is a good excuse to stay with somebody who broke your trust and played it off as some dare. I think it's an even worse look if you decide to break your partner's trust just like that. I appreciate the opinions and suggestions a lot. If something else happens that I required advice on, I'll update the same post, but for now, I'm grateful. Edit 2. Hello, this is the last edit I'm going to do on this post, since I feel like I've sorted everything out and wanted to clear some things for those curious. 1. Today, she responded to the paragraph I sent with nothing but a laughing face. No apology, no text, nothing. That's crazy. I don't believe there's anything else to do about that. I don't care anymore and have no interest in anything that has to do with her. 2. The person who asked her the question of how much it would cost was a guy, not the other girl. I'm not sure what the other girl thought about it, but I don't really care either, since like the others, she only laughed about it. I also don't care about the guy. I have no interest in knowing about any of them at all. 3. The only person I've stayed friends with from that group was someone who wasn't at the hangout when everything happened. He reached out to me through Discord and asked me to explain everything. I did, and he understood me. I'm not sure if he's still friends with the others, as all he's told me is that he doesn't feel comfortable talking with them after I explained everything. So far, with him, everything's cool. 4. This isn't much of a clearance, but an opinion from myself. I've read a lot of the comments and learned a lot of stuff. Some things I agreed with and some not at all. What I don't understand, and I apologize if it offends anybody, is the genuine lack of reading comprehension from some people. Almost all of the comments that told me I was the a-hole always said I should have run with it and have a... You're a kitty. I find it really hot when my wife kisses another girl. Grow the F up. It's just girls kissing, and she's better off without someone controlling. All of those commenters are biphobic. None of those commenters are actually supportive of queer women. And it astounds me that OP's girlfriend would behave that way.
Sounds like they're super supportive of women kissing each other.
Yeah, they're like, they should only kiss, but only in front of me. Most of them are always only saying that. In my past edit, I specifically said that this type of stuff is boundaries that we both established over the course of our relationship. It was something that both of us agreed we wouldn't do because we both found it disrespectful in a relationship. If you find it hot and have established with your partner that you don't mind when they do stuff like that with someone else, that's fine for you. I strongly believe that people who commented that stuff just read the title and nothing else. The fact that some of you would genuinely try to enforce your mindset onto someone who is clearly against it is honestly very sad in my opinion. By the way, it's always sad to me when you guys don't listen to full episodes of stories just like this, because you can find them on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio if you just search up OK Storytime.
You can find them all over the place.
All
you
over
scrounge
the freaking
around.
place.
You don't even have to scrounge. Scrounging implies it's hard
It's not hard.
to find them. It's not.
It's easy. But there is a little bit left to this story. Any final thoughts?
At the end of the day, she kissed a girl, and you did not like it. And I wonder what kind of chapstick she was wearing.
I won't update this post anymore as I believe I've understood everything. I really appreciate everyone who helped me understand things and gave me their POV, while also giving me tips on what I should do. I do believe I will start focusing more on myself with stuff like the gym and try to be more social so I can find good friends. I hope nothing but the best for those who help me. And by the way, no, the pun from the first line wasn't intentional, LMAO. Thank you. And that's the end
Take
of
more
that
credit for
story.
that pun. Sometimes you accidentally, you wrote gold.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't know it. But yeah, you know what? Honestly, it's all right. You being not together with her anymore, totally fine, dude. You made a good
Agreed.
call.
You did. You called it really quickly.
I'm hesitating to include my in-laws in our will because of their behavior.
What did they do?
My husband, 24 male, and I, 24 female, have been together for nearly 4 years and have one child together. We decided around a year ago that we needed to sort out our will to ensure our daughter had a stable life should something happen to us. By the way, this comes from user concernedmother501, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. My name's Dakota.
I'm Sophia.
I'm Keon.
Hi, and we're all here for one reason, and it's to give good advice goofily. But we don't have all the answers, and it makes us upset. So just tell us what you would do in the comments, because we only know what we would do right now in the here and now, and that's what we're going to tell you. And OP says, the wills that we had written states that our daughter would go to my father, 50 male. However, he's got various health conditions, which could mean he might not still be around. As a backup plan, we stated that my husband's parents, 51 female and 60 male, would get her. Over the course of the last few years, mother-in-law's behavior has been steadily declining. She's been acting like she's in her 20s, going out partying every weekend, doing illegal substances, instigating arguments with husband's siblings, etc.
Sounds like she's just a cool lady.
Looks like she's a cool lady.
Feels like she's a cool lady.
Smells like she's a cool lady.
My husband said that she had heavy drinking tendencies when he was growing up. About a year ago, she had been out partying on the Friday night and did some illegal things. Then the next morning, she was watching our daughter for us. She hadn't told us that she wasn't sober when we dropped the daughter off, and we only found out at pickup because she said to husband, "Oh yeah, I had a fun time last night. I got to do the spicy flower." My husband explained to her that we would have rather she had told us. We wouldn't have gone out, but there would have been someone sober watching our daughter. He told her that if she ever watched our daughter while under the influence again, that she wouldn't be able to have her alone anymore. I didn't realize until daughter got home that mother-in-law had also given her her first haircut without permission and threw away all the hair because her hair was bothering her. I was livid, but mother-in-law feigned ignorance, saying she didn't realize first haircuts were a thing and that she didn't take off much, but our daughter went from having nose-length hair to micro bangs. Taking into account that she had been doing a spicy flower the night before and she'd been drinking during the day and she had scissors so close to daughter's eyes, pushed me over the edge. Turned into a huge argument between me and husband, mostly because he originally tried to say it was him that cut her hair. When I said that I knew it was mother-in-law that did it, he started trying to defend mother-in-law. It's now something that gets frequently brought up in a mocking way by mother-in-law with a smirk on her face. Fast forward to last weekend. Mother-in-law had organized a family get-together for father-in-law for his 60th birthday and had also invited some of his friends and work colleagues as well. Mother-in-law and father-in-law both work in the medical industry. We arrive on time, but we weren't the first there. Husband's younger brother, 20 male, was first to arrive with his partner, 20 female. A younger brother-in-law went into the bathroom while sister-in-law sat on the couch, which looks into the kitchen. Mother-in-law was in there pressuring father-in-law into taking something, to which he gave in, and she saw them take some substances. Shortly thereafter, we arrived and said hello, and then husband's older brother, 25 male, and his partner, 30 male, arrived. While we were outside, sister-in-law told us what she had seen and was saying that she was upset that they do something like that for a family gathering. Older brother-in-law and partner came out, and after eating, we asked them if they already knew, to which they said they did. They revealed that mother-in-law had specifically told them what her and father-in-law did, and that older brother-in-law and partner were told not to tell me and husband that mother-in-law and father-in-law weren't sober. We were so angry that we just wanted to leave, but we also didn't want to upset father-in-law at his birthday celebration. After people started leaving, we made an excuse to leave with them. It did take a while, as the combination of the psychedelics plus booze caused mother-in-law to have a breakdown and start crying about how she never sees us. Husband and I have had a chat, and at this point, we're not comfortable with mother-in-law and father-in-law having daughter alone.
How did you let it last this long, though? Like, how is this the breaking point? The first time I find out that anyone has watched a child of mine under any sorts of like after a day of, taking substances, and then also while watching them was drinking, never watching my kid
Yeah, this
again.
seems pretty much irrelevant to the larger issue at hand, which is that she had scissors around your 2-year-old daughter
While drinking.
after she'd been drinking.
Night of doing substances, day of drinking, watching your kid, holding scissors near her face.
We don't know what kind of substances they are taking outside of party situations, but we think it's disrespectful that they wouldn't want to be lucid for when they see their granddaughter. On top of this, they knew that we'd have an issue with them doing what they did, to the extent that they told people not to tell us specifically. Now husband and I are assessing whether we still want them as our backup in our wills. Husband hasn't talked to them about the weekend incident yet. He is still so angry and upset, as he's been the one defending mother-in-law to his siblings and me the last few years. Would we be overreacting by changing our wills to have our backup as my mom instead? She's not already, as she lives overseas. And there is an update.
You would be underreacting if you didn't.
Yeah, I don't think that's a great environment for a kid to be around. Update. We saw our lawyer on Monday and discussed with her what we wanted to be changed. It was really hard for husband, and he was quite depressed. He knew it had to be done for daughter's safety. We've had our wills changed to name my mother and stepfather as daughter's guardians if we're not around. The main thing the lawyer needed to confirm was that whether we wanted daughter to move to them or them to move to here. We had already discussed them doing the latter, so that's what will be put in. Someone suggested we specifically exclude mother-in-law and father-in-law from being potential guardians, which we suggested to our lawyer. She said that she wouldn't advise us including that in our will, as wills become publicly available after a person's passing. She instead suggested that we leave sealed letters for our executors outlining that we wish for mother-in-law and father-in-law not to be her guardians and why. In that instance, the information would only become public knowledge if they tried to ignore our wishes and get custody of daughter, as the letter could be used as evidence in court. Husband also changed his executor from mother-in-law to a close friend. We see said friend every week for game night, and he was husband's best man at our wedding. He's got a good connection with daughter. She was born the same day his mother passed, and he said that her birth gave him hope in a very dark time. Mother-in-law and father-in-law still have not contacted us. Normally, mother-in-law would ring husband every few days to check in, but it's been over a week now and still nothing. We're thinking older brother-in-law probably mentioned to them that we knew about the substances and that we were pissed. They're probably trying to wait out husband's anger and hope that it blows over. Update number 2. We finally received the dreaded call from mother-in-law after only 3 weeks of no contact. She called to ask if she could have daughter next week, as it's her friend's son's birthday. We were in the middle of dinner, so husband said he'd call her back later. We finished up, and my father, 50 male, watched daughter while we went to a separate room to talk to mother-in-law. The conversation started with husband saying that he wouldn't be comfortable with her having daughter unsupervised, to which she responded that she understood, no questions asked. He started explaining to her that we didn't appreciate the substance use when we were over for father-in-law's birthday, and that we knew that she said specifically not to tell us. She tried to explain away, saying, "Oh, well, it's not something we wanted to broadcast to all the guests," and that she figured we wouldn't care because she wasn't responsible for daughter. To which we responded with, "Why mention us by name rather than just saying don't tell anyone?" She eventually confessed, saying that she didn't want us to know because we'd judge them and that they didn't want any big reactions from us. She continued on talking in loops, making out that husband was being selfish and that clearly we had the problem because we were invited to their house. They could do what they wanted in their house, and they were able to make adult decisions such as using substances. The issue is that they did it, then tried to hide it when they knew other people wouldn't be okay with it. We don't want to be around it, and we don't want our daughter around it, and she knew that. They also didn't portray it as a party. It was advertised as a Sunday lunch celebration. Yeah, that's that's false advertising.
Yeah, bunch of liars over there.
She started talking about my grandmother, who also has a drinking problem, saying that we're fine with daughter being around her, which actually we're not. She then went on to say that we shouldn't worry about it. If we're such prudes, she'll steer clear of anything questionable or addictive.
Too late. Too late.
Well, it's like now it's like it's
If you're
your
such
attitude
prudes.
has shifted. So it was like, oh, well, I mean, we're whatever. We're adults. We can make whatever decisions that we want. Well, if you guys are so lame and such prudes, then I guess we'll just never do anything around you ever. It's like, come on. They are also adults. They can decide that they don't like that stuff. Just like you're an adult, you can decide that you do.
You're just not watching their kids anymore.
She started by mentioning wine, then doubled down, saying, "Oh, wait, coffee has caffeine, and caffeine's addictive. Better steer clear of that one, too." I could see she was really starting to upset husband and make him second guess. If I feel like someone is threatening me or someone in my family, I can really lose my crap, and that's exactly what happened. I started with, "What the F is wrong with you? What in the actual F is wrong with you that you think this is okay? This is disgusting behavior, and you know it. You would never let any of your kids at 2 years old around someone who was high. You would have lost your crap. So why would you do that to your granddaughter and then expect us to be fine with it?" I was beyond furious at this point, so I was screaming into the phone. I think she was a little taken aback by my presence because she thought husband was alone. She responded with, "I'm not going to respond to yelling." I went to another room to cool off before I went back to listen again. She was talking about how father-in-law wanted to do the substances as a 60th birthday present to himself, and that it may be hard to hear when you're in your 20s, but it's not about you. But it sounded like you were trying to pressure him into doing it from what I heard
Yes,
earlier
and also,
in the story.
none of that matters because the issue here is that you're doing them around the kid. That's it. That's literally it. So you don't get to see the kid. If you want to do the substances and drink, you are more than welcome to. It's your life. But the consequence is you don't get to be around the kid.
We don't care what they do in their own time. We just don't want our daughter around it, and she knew that. She then started to go on about how she loves daughter and she wished she could see her more, and then proceeded to talk about paying for daughter's swim classes. At that point, I butted in again to say, "Okay, thanks. You no longer need to worry about that, as it's not going to be a point you can manipulate." She then tried to backtrack and said she was just meaning that she cares. The call continued with her trying to make excuses and manipulate husband into thinking that we were wrong for our reaction. When I would jump in, she'd make comments about me being too involved. She tried talking about how upsetting it was that we'd reacted like this, but, "Oh, don't feel guilty," which I think was an attempt at reverse psychology. I just reiterated that we didn't feel guilty and we were acting in the best interest of our daughter. She finished by saying that what we want to do is our decision and that what she does won't affect anything of what we think of her. I called her out, saying that her behavior on the call had been manipulative and absolutely disgusting, and husband said something to the tune of him not recognizing her anymore, said goodbye, and hung up. But by the way, you never need to say goodbye to full episodes with stories just like this on your favorite podcast platform. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts, just search OK Storytime. Okay? And there you can listen till your heart's content.
Oh, yeah. Till your heart's content.
But we have a little bit more story left.
Oh, boy. My same thoughts. Don't let them watch your kids. That's easy peasy.
Don't let them watch your kids, and your ability to make things in your will, whatever you want them to be, is yours alone. And let's finish this story. Husband was understandably distraught afterwards. He's a very passive person, and he was waiting until she called to say something to her about the substance use. I was telling him how to word his responses to her while they were talking, but he would just let her cut him off, which is probably another reason I jumped in. This has been kind of playing on my mind, as I'm not really an angry person. I try to be kind and considerate, so when I do lose my crap, it tends to stick with me. I did talk with husband and apologized for butting in, but he thanked me for backing me up. So am I the a-hole for calling out mother-in-law on her bull?
No, call her out sooner.
You are not the a-hole.
Not at all. This
Good miss.
lady should never be around kids.